Yeah, I happen to be talking about the power of blessing today. I used to think blessing was just for priests and nuns and when somebody sneezed, right? Bless you. But there's also extreme power in giving a blessing. That we can use a blessing to send a little boost of happy vibes to another person. For ourselves, we can ask for a blessing. But we can also use blessing as a way to help us let go of somewhere that we're feeling stuck or hurt so we can move forward again. The practice of blessing can actually move us into a transcendent state. When we go into a transcendent state with blessing, we can move out of suffering and into a space of beauty and gentleness and peace. Of course, we talk about prayers all the time. Right? We just like every you can go to any church in the valley here and they're talking about prayer. It's prayer that we turn to when we need guidance, when we need encouragement, we want to change something in our life, we want to create something new. But what about those times when we're really angry or we're raging and we can't get into a prayerful space? Blessing can help us do that. That's one of the benefits of blessing. So today I'm going to talk about the power of blessing, what it actually is, and who and how, who to bless, how to bless, when to bless, the benefits of blessing, of which there are actually some scientific studies done on it. There's also a prerequisite to blessing, so we can really get into the blessing space. So blessing helps us in our hard times, but on even just a normal, regular day, a blessing can give us kind of that jolt of happy vibes. Or maybe we just see somebody who seems to be running short on patience, and we send them a little blessing, right? It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be like just everyday stuff too. St. Catherine of Siena said, "The force that created the unimaginable splendors and the unimaginable horrors has taken refuge in us, and it will follow our commands." Will follow our commands. And one of the questions I get a lot, and I think many of you have mentioned you get this question a lot too, because people that are outside the unity philosophy will ask us about this. Well, what do you think when bad things happen? Don't you wonder why God doesn't fix that? Don't you ever wonder why God lets bad things happen? Of course, the foundation of unity is that God is within us. God's not an outside deity. Because if there were an outside deity someplace out there, and it would make all the bad things stop happening here on this planet, what it really would be is our puppet master. If we did not get the opportunity to choose to do good instead, if we were forced to be good all the time, we wouldn't be growing in our own life. We wouldn't really know what it meant to choose to be good because we're being forced to be good. Now, I know sometimes you look around at the world and I know I think like, well, okay, this is one thing I change. I just force everybody to accept it, right? Okay, but in unity, we have our principles. God is all things. That means me. I align with the divine within so that I can do really well. I can do my very best at God is all things, and that means me. So then I can go into the fifth step of walking the walk and doing my very best. But we get to choose if we're going to do that or not. We get to choose if the next thing we do honors the divine within us and the divine in other people. We get to choose that. We don't have to do it. We get to choose it. If we want, we can be manipulative and use the dark tactics, right, of trying to control people outside of us. Eric Butterworth said, "Every person within themselves contains a little spark of divinity. That little spark of celestial fire that man may waste and desecrate, but never quite lose." So there is a divine power within us. It's always available to us, but we can waste that power. We can desecrate it. We can choose to do things that aren't good for us or for other people. Hence, the need for prayer and blessing in our life. That's like kind of the antidote to the free will all over our planet where sometimes we're not choosing our very best. So blessing, it is what we do when we can't get ourselves yet into the space of praying about something. We can do it when we just want a good energy shot for ourselves or for others. But it is very powerful when something has happened and we can't yet let that go. If we still have that feeling of being wronged, this shouldn't have happened, right? Blessing is kind of what gets us into the space where we can move forward again. So what is a blessing? I'm going to say what it's not first. Blessing is not condoning that something happened. And blessing, if we bless something, it doesn't mean that it's okay now, right? If something bad happened, like if somebody ran into you with a car and broke your foot, if you decided to bless the situation, it doesn't mean it's okay your foot is broken. It doesn't mean it's okay. But blessing, again, is the thing that helps us move forward. What blessing does, it acknowledges that the event occurred, that something or someone happened to you. It acknowledges our feelings, whatever those feelings are. Okay, when something has happened, any of our feelings are fine. There's no wrong feeling. If we're angry, if we're raging, if we want if we want justice, like whatever it is we're feeling in that moment, you know what, it's fine, and we don't want to judge ourselves for sure. But when we acknowledge what it is that happened, and we acknowledged how we are really feeling, that acknowledgement helps us to keep from repressing those feelings, or suppressing them, okay? It helps us to stop being a bystander then, right? We don't have to be the victim anymore, and we won't examine why. That's like such a horrible spiral to get into. Why? Oh, why? Why did this happen? Well, when we're ready, the blessing helps us to let go of the why, because really, who knows? There are like so many moving parts in this universe, we'll never probably get a satisfactory answer for that. Blessing helps us to pray from a place of strength and clarity rather than rage and hurt. And through the act of blessing, you assume your power to release life's deepest hurts. Okay, the benefits of blessing. So there have been scientific studies, you all know this part, right? That our DNA and the cells in our body, they're in direct communication with our feelings. So our body creates matching chemistry. So we're either releasing life-affirming hormones like DHEA, or we're releasing life-suppressing hormones like cortisol. Studies have proven that prolonged, not instantaneous when it happens, prolonged rage, hate, judgment affect us on a cellular level. So the act of blessing or prayer releases the life-affirming hormones of DHEA into our system. Helps boost our immune system. When we have a great functioning immune system, lots of stuff works out well in there for us, right? Linda was sharing a story with me recently on blessing somebody, that somebody was really struggling with something, and so she created like the blessing ball of energy, and we'll do that in our meditation today. She created the blessing ball of energy and just put loving thoughts into it, and then just sent a blast of love blessings to this person. So what she said that was interesting is that she could feel the energy flowing through her. And when she sent the blessing, she felt better. She felt better. So blessing is helping us who send the blessing and the person on the other end receiving it. All right, here's the prerequisite to blessing. We know teacher Jesus taught us that we transcend our hurts through the wisdom of our heart. But to access the wisdom of our heart, we have to be willing to remove ourselves from the kind of judgment where we feel offended, where we feel like we have to be self-righteous, where we're arrogant, where we want to punish, where we need to be right. And that's basically the definition of judgmentalness, right? In the Bible, it is not self-righteous. Righteous judgment is spoken of. But see, now we consider that more discernment or observation. We're just looking at something. We're not making it bad, and we're not getting offended by it. And so this is important, to let go of being judgmental, because that's the way we access the wisdom in our heart. Okay, otherwise we're stuck feeling separated. So the prerequisite to blessing is we ask ourselves this question: Can I accept the situation as it is right now and move past it? Can I let go of my need for payback? Can I do that? If no, it's like, no, I want them to get what's coming to them. Yeah, that's totally okay. It's okay. Sometimes we just got to accept that's where we are. But if we are in that space for more than just the time of when it happened, if it becomes prolonged, we are in resistance. We're in resistance. Now, when we go into resistance, we're not acknowledging the divine working through us, for us, as us, and through our life around us, and even through the person or the event that may have harmed us. The divine is working everywhere. But if we go into resistance, all we see is, well, that needs to change. The thing is, what we usually want to change, it's already happened. We would have to time travel to change the thing that we want to change. So, Lily Tomlin said, basically, that the definition of forgiveness is giving up all hope for a better past. We can't change what happened back there. We start here, and we move forward. So, sometimes people, and I have done this too, sometimes I don't want to move forward because I feel like that's going into denial. Like, well, I'm just not accepting this bad thing. I'm supposed to pretend it's okay, right? That's what I've thought before. I'm supposed to pretend everything's all right. But actually, the resistance is the denial, not accepting what has happened and getting ready to move forward. Resistance is being in denial because of our wanting to change something that can't be changed. So if you say no, and you're not ready, that's okay. I'm not always ready either. I'm not. Like, I've got a wee bit of this Irish temper in me. There's some days I'm not willing to say it's all right to go forward, right? So I do. I have like this much Irish in me. It's all in my hair. So if we say no to something, what our charge is in that moment is to decide or to investigate, why aren't I willing to let go of something, to let go of my feelings that are causing my suffering? The thing that happened, it causes our suffering when it's happened. But then from that moment, we are at choice on how we move forward from that. It may have been awful. And you know what? There are some things that have happened, and they are so bad, none of us are expected to say, well, that's fine. We don't have to say that's fine about something. But what we're saying is, but you know what? Maybe this awful thing happened, but you know what? I'm not letting it control me anymore. I'm not letting it hold me down anymore. I'm not letting it keep me stuck. Okay, so when we decide we're ready, we can say, yeah, all right, this has happened. I want to let it go. I want to feel better. I'm willing to see things differently. Now we're ready to open up to the power of blessing. Because now we can acknowledge God as an everywhere present force. Now we can acknowledge that there's divine activity at work in everybody around us, in all the situations, all the events, and our act of being able to bless, even being able to do it. We don't even have to start blessing yet. But our act of moving into that calls forth the divine through everything around us. So then we can trust that the divine is at work in our lives. So we believe, this is a big one. When we can do that, we start believing that every experience, even something we didn't like, it's still the truth that we can master our choices. We still get to choose. No matter what has happened, we still get to choose how we move forward. So that's how we're letting go of judgment and going into the wisdom of our heart. Every person who's ever done their worst to you in your life, whoever that person is, they still have that spark of celestial fire within them. They may have wasted it and they may have desecrated it, but the divine is still at work in them. Sometimes our being able to bless them helps to pull it through. Maybe, at least in how we view them, that's what we're worried about. So can we say, yes, I am ready to do this? Then we're ready to bless. So when to bless? When? When you've experienced something bad in your life, when you need a boost of loving energy, when somebody you know has had something hard happen to them in their life, or maybe they just need a boost of energy. Maybe there is an event, right? And you want to bless the event, okay? So Who and what to bless? Well, we know this first one. We bless those who suffer. That's kind of a given. Who's been the victim of a circumstance or an event? Often it's us. Sometimes it's the people we know and love. Sometimes the victim of an event is not somebody we know, it's somebody we saw on the news. And we feel bad for them. We're like, oh, that was awful what happened to them. Okay? But we are sending more loving energy to them if we decide, oh, I'm going to send them a blessing instead. I'm going to love them from a distance, and they're never even going to know it's me. But I'm going to send them that loving, loving, loving blessing. We can bless floods, fires, severe weather. We can bless all that too. We can bless our planet. We can bless work. We can bless people who are of service in our lives. Okay, then we can bless the witness. Now this is kind of an odd one to think about, but how many times have you seen something on the news or in social media and it was so horrible that you wanted to crawl into bed, curl up into a ball, and just pull the blankets over your head? Okay, it was so bad. I had somebody drop a bomb in my lap a few weeks ago, and I actually went out to my car and bawled after I heard the news. So we get affected. The witness also needs a blessing, because the witness can be traumatized by what they have witnessed. They have to reconcile stuff too. How could this happen? Right? So they have to reconcile stuff too. So we bless the witness. Okay, here's the challenging one. We bless whatever or whoever caused the suffering in the first place. Now, when I read that, I was like, right? Why would I bless the person that hurt me? Right? Why would I bless this offense? Whatever, right? But in the wisdom teachings throughout the ages, there's the teaching of bless those that have harmed you. In the Bible, the one that always comes to me is bless them that persecute you, bless them and curse not. So cursing is even taken out of the blessing. We can't even curse somebody who's upset us or betrayed us, right? It's like you just go straight to the blessing. You just go straight to the blessing. If we don't bless the cause of suffering, we can get stuck in that judgment trap. And then we're not able to access the wisdom of our heart. Then what happens is we bury our pain. We suppress the rage. And when we bury something down, that can turn into some pretty intense stuff. I've known people who have gone through traumatic events in their lives, and they do, under the surface, you can kind of see it always sitting there, but they put on a happy face. But in certain situations, that there's something that's seething that just comes to the surface, right? So in the Gospel of Thomas, it says, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. We gotta deal with our pain. We gotta deal with our pain. We gotta deal with our rage. If we're suppressing, if we're repressing, what happens is we become the cause of our own suffering. And that's on us. When we cause our own suffering, we continue to blame something out there that cannot be changed. That's what happens. So we bless the victim, we bless the witness, and then we also bless the cause of whatever happened. So how to bless was actually very simple, very simple. I got this out of Greg Braden's book, Secrets of the Lost Mode of Prayer. In fact, this whole talk is inspired by him. So step one is we align with the divine within. And again, we'll do this at the meditation today. It'll be really fun. And I like to ground myself. And you know how I talk about going to the heart center so often, right? We just take a light, and from our heart center, we shine it down the planet and back up. And we just imagine this ball growing around us. And then I like to put my hands out. I like this little ceremony of doing that. I imagine who I want to bless. And so what Greg Braden recommends, and I like this is simple because it's impersonal. Because sometimes when we're ready to bless the cause, it may not be like, I don't want to bless you. I really don't want to bless you, but I'm willing to make sure you get a blessing. from somebody else who's not so mad as I am. And that something else is the divine within us. Okay, so we align with the divine within, we do our grounding work, and then we bless, first of all, those who suffer. May they know their divine nature. And we bless the witness. May they know their divine nature. We bless the cause of the suffering. May they know their divine nature. It's really simple. It's not so personal that we can't handle it if maybe we're in that space. May they know their divine nature. Why would somebody waste and desecrate the beautiful wild forces that are at work in them? Because they do not know their divine nature. They're not aware of it. So our call to action this week, I thought this would be so fun. If we're all doing it, we're sending out blasts of love and happy vibes to the planet, but let's think about blessing every day. Let's go into a practice, because when I started doing a daily blessing, it felt kind of weird, right? It was something I had to get used to. And so let's start off like tomorrow, or if you want to do this tonight, go ahead and just bless everybody you love. Don't even worry about the other stuff yet. Just bless everybody you love. Just imagine them and get yourself grounded, and you're going to send them that loving energy, and it's just may you know your divine nature. And I like to throw in, for the people that I love you, I love you, I love you. For the people I don't love, like who maybe be in the cause category, what I'll say is, you are loved. You are loved, you are loved, you are loved. Okay? And then I feel good. I feel better after that. And then, so start with people that you love. Bless a witness. At some point this week, you are going to hear some bad news, or you're going to know somebody who heard about something and they've been affected. So send them a little blessing. You can bless life situations, like trouble with a job, or if there's family or friendship drama in your life. Then bless somebody who caused you pain and suffering. Try that. Like if you want to wait for Friday, that's okay. St. Francis of Assisi said, there are beautiful and wild forces within us. Oh, you bet there are. There are. And we get to choose. We get to choose how we are calling those forth out into our life. So I have an affirmation that I thought this would just be so beautiful, and I'll share this on our social media stuff. But there are beautiful and wild forces within me, and I use them to make the world a more beautiful place. That's our choice, to honor those forces within us, right? So Kevin's going to put our affirmation up there, and we can say it all together. Okay, ready? There are beautiful and wild forces within me, and I use them to make the world a more beautiful place. Blessing is what allows us to release those beautiful and wild forces within us. The love, grace, compassion, understanding, mercy, creativity. We're calling all of that forth through us. It doesn't happen on accident. Like, we're calling it all forth through us. And we're not the only one who benefits, so we surely do feel the first benefit of that. So we're calling forth those beautiful and wild forces, and that is how we are creating heaven on earth. So until next time, remember, you are the divine walking around in a body on this planet right now, and you are divinely designed to do all of this stuff. All of this stuff that we ever talk about, you're already designed for that. You have that divine spark, that celestial fire within you, guiding you. They're available for you every single day of your life. And everything you do, you are blessed, and so it is.